Chapter 078 The First Stirring of Winds and Clouds. It was already late autumn. Most leaves had fallen from the trees inside and outside Yuhua Mountain, leaving a bleak desolation in their wake. Standing atop a peak and gazing far into the distance, all one saw was crisp air steeped in killing intent, perfect weather for climbing high and looking out over the world. Fang Han and Hongyi Junju stood sniffing the air toward the wooded hills not far from them, as if catching some unusual scent on the autumn wind. Who dares stalk us? Do you not know I am the ancestor of assassination, a gold-class grandmaster among killers? How could their hiding trick fool me? Though I am surprised you sensed them too, Fang Han. Hongyi Junju also kept her voice low. It is nothing. My spiritual cultivation has reached a certain level, so my senses are naturally sharper. Fang Han stroked the smooth feathers on Crane Fairy's body. We will settle with them after we leave the mountain. Let's go. Ouch. Fang Han, you are so heavy. You are twice as heavy as you used to be. You are going to crush me. Crane Fairy squawked loudly the moment Fang Han settled on her back. Really? But you can lift a full-grown horse with ease. Can you not carry me? Fang Han hesitated for a moment before speaking. His frame was actually slightly more compact than it used to be, but his weight had fully doubled. After cultivating the Enluo golden body, his flesh and blood had condensed thoroughly, and his bones had become incredibly dense. Each of his bones was now roughly equal to steel in weight, and his marrow flowed like mercury. He now weighed a full 500 to 600 jin, yet his lines were even more sleek and perfect than those of an ordinary god transformation realm expert. This was the source of his immense explosive power. When he channeled his energy, his body became invulnerable to blades and spears, just like the iron troll he resembled. What was a golden body? It meant that once the Enluo golden body was cultivated to a certain level, the same volume of flesh and blood would match the weight of an equal volume of gold. How immense must that power be? But that stage would only come after breaking through to the supernatural power secret realm. Crane Fairy grumbled a bit more, but obediently carried both Fang Han and Hongyi Junju. She spread her wings but flew low, gliding through the mountain valleys until she had traveled 100 li, then landed in the barren hills outside Yuhua Mountain. Crane Fairy, Hongyi, block your ears. I will break through these stalkers' concealment techniques. Fang Han glanced around at the autumn scenery, smiled coldly, and quietly warned the two. He then turned to face a certain direction, and suddenly sucked in a huge breath. His whole body swelled considerably, every inch of his skin bulging like an inflated ball. Hongyi Junju was startled by the change. One moment Fang Han had been a perfectly proportioned man, and the next he had inflated into a round sphere, a giant pale gold toad, golden light flickering all over his body, his frame looking ready to burst apart from the compressed air and blast everything within dozens of paces into powder. A terrifying, explosive aura poured out from Fang Han's body, and even Hongyi Junju felt an impulse to flee. Asterisk Wu. Gu. Ba. Ma. Asterisk. 8 tones of the heavenly dragon. The chant roared out from Fang Han's throat, blasting straight toward the direction of the stalkers. Strangely, the sound did not spread out wildly, but condensed into a single solid wave of sonic energy, sharp as a flying falcon, piercing straight through the clouds. A gale rose up, tearing apart the trees in its path. A small sapling standing not far ahead, right in the path of the sound wave, was ripped straight out of the ground by the force. Seeing this display of power, Crane Fairy trembled all over. She knew full well that even a full-grown bull standing before Fang Han would be blasted flying by this attack. Crackle. Crackle. Where the sound wave swept through, a series of chaotic pops rang out, as if something had been shattered by the vibration. 7 or 8 li into the hills, the air twisted in clumps, and the figures of several inner disciples were suddenly revealed. The disciples stared in shock. The concealment talismans they held in their hands snapped with a crack and burst into flame. These concealment talismans were magic tools that allowed a user to turn invisible, hide their aura, even muffle footsteps, breathing, and heartbeat. They were perfect for stalking and spying. but they had been shattered by the 8 tones of the heavenly dragon, which was infused with Fang Han's strong spiritual will. The attack had disrupted the magic power inside the talismans, making them rupture on their own. Fang Han had already displayed the overwhelming might of the 8 tones of the heavenly dragon on the demon heaven battlefield, but back then his body was nowhere near as strong. Now, after a month of hellish tempering and laying the foundation for the Yanluo golden body, his physical strength was more than doubled, so the power of the 8 tones naturally rose with it. What was more, after 3 days of lectures in the transmitting courtyard, he had cross-referenced vast Qi Long Song with the 8 tones of the heavenly dragon, perfecting the technique even further. Such power was enough to break through any ordinary magic tool. Even common spirit tools could be destroyed with a single word. "Humph, you dare spy on me?" Fang Han flipped back onto Crane Fairy's back, and she glided down, quickly closing the distance to the disciples. He landed and stared at them coldly. "We've been discovered. Run." The few inner disciples only snapped back to their senses after Fang Han's roar shattered their concealment talismans, and they immediately turned to flee. But how could Fang Han let them escape? His body flashed, he feinted left and struck right, and every one of the inner disciples took a palm strike from him, knocking them unconscious instantly. Fang Han now struck faster than lightning. Even Yuan Jiankong was no match for him, let alone these ordinary inner disciples. But he did not dare kill them. Killing a fellow disciple would bring severe punishment under the sect rules. Even maiming a fellow disciple was a great crime. Even when he fought Yuan Jiankong, he had only knocked him out. Knocking them out like this, how can we question them? It is not convenient to question them here. I will capture them first, find a chance to subdue them and turn them to my side. Fang Han waved his hand, a flash of yellow light swept over the disciples and they vanished, pulled into the Huangquan diagram. He did not need to hide this from Hongyi Junju, she had long known he possessed a Tao treasured. We cannot lock them up for too long. We have to release them before the mountain and river list tournament at the latest, otherwise the sect will investigate. An inner disciple's disappearance is no small matter. We will be training in the underground world for a month. That should be enough time to make these few disciples obey me obediently. I know of a ground fissure on the border of the Li Dynasty that leads down to the underground world. Then that is where we will go. There are many ground fissures across the mortal world that lead to the underground world. The one in the vast desert is not the only one. Fang Han and Hongyi Junju chose this relatively safe fissure instead of the one in the vast desert, which was crowded with demon armies and held the dangerous demon god altered. Just as they finished speaking, the two climbed back onto Crane Fairy's back and flew off into the sky. Tiandu Peak. It was the tallest peak of Yuhuamin, the residence of the top true disciple Hua Tiandu. It pierced straight into the sky, over 1,000 jang tall. White clouds clung to its midslopes, and 9 golden pagodas floated above its summit, casting golden light that enveloped the entire peak, warding off all demons. At that moment, in the alchemy chamber of Tiandu Peak, Hua Tiandu sat cross-legged beside a pill furnace, a roaring true fire burning brightly inside. 3,000 heavenly demons, along with the great mighty virtue demon king, were being refined inside the furnace. Hua Tiandu, you will never refine me. Heavenly demon self-destruction art. The great mighty virtue demon king roared in despair, his body suddenly convulsed before exploding violently, blowing the pill furnace jumping upward. Hua Tiandu pressed down with one hand, instantly suppressing the aftershock of the explosion. Senior brother, you still have not refined the demon king? Standing beside him were several true disciples, all of whom followed Hua Tiandu's lead unwaveringly. The great mighty virtue demon king has cultivated his demon art to the heaven man realm. I can easily capture and kill him, but to erase his will and refine him into pure Yuan Qi, I am missing one crucial ingredient. At his cultivation level, with the heavenly demon self-destruction art, he has the power to take his own life if he chooses. Hua Tiandu shook his head. What ingredient are you missing? Huangquan holy water. Hua Tiandu said. This holy water is the essence of heaven and earth, originating from the most mysterious river deep beneath the earth. Unfortunately, Thousands of years ago, Emperor Huangquan forcibly refined it for his own selfish gain, and the holy river vanished after that. Huangquan holy water has not been seen anywhere in the world ever since. Senior brother, I heard that the dragon subduing Huangquan diagram has appeared again. It is very likely connected to Fang Qingxue. One true disciple spoke up. Of course I know. It counts as her fortuitous encounter. Hua Tiandu said. Let us set that matter aside for now. In a few years, the Immortal Gathering Conference of the 10 Great Immortal Sects will be held. You must all cultivate diligently and win glory for our Yuhua men at the conference.